What I learned from watching Major Astro. What I learned from watching Major Astro, Kristin McCarter.
Thank you, Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Do you remember the character Dana Carvey used to do on Saturday Night Live several years ago, the cranky old man?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like that cranky old man. Like, when I was a kid, we didn't have these fancy schmancy after-school specials to improve your self-esteem. We had cartoons full of Cold War propaganda, scary movies, and we liked it. When I was a kid, I'd rush home from school every day to watch Major Astro. He showed cartoons and movies on Channel 3 in Wichita. I later learned Major Astro wasn't a real astronaut. But I didn't care at age 8. I'd stay glued to that tube till he signed off, and he'd always say the same thing every day. He'd say, "Well, boys and girls, it's time to go back to the moon base, but I'll see you tomorrow when everything will be A-OK and all systems will be go. Happy orbits, boys and girls." I loved watching Major Astro, but one of the movies he showed gave me nightmares for years. You see, in this movie, our heroine is a 19-year-old woman. She's falsely convicted of bank robbery. She didn't have anything to do with it. But in spite of her innocence, she's convicted and sent to this tough women's prison where they're guarded by mean matrons. This prison is so tough that shortly after our heroine arrives, another prisoner, and this is the not funny part, commits suicide. Our heroine awakes in the middle of the night to find the woman's body hanging from the bars. Somehow, into this prison, out in the prison yard, a tiny kitten wanders in. Our heroine discovers it and decides she's going to rescue it and keep it safe and hide it from the mean matrons. She gets all the prisoners to work together. They're going to sneak milk back from dinner to feed the kitten and hide it and keep it safe. But it doesn't work. The mean matrons hear the viewing and demand that she hand over the kitten. She refuses, and it starts a full-blown prison riot. Bunk beds toppled, mattresses set on fire, people punched. They have to call in the riot police to subdue the whole thing. And when calm is finally restored, our heroine goes to look for the kitten because it jumped out of her hands when the riot started. She finds its body. The kitten has been killed in the prison riot. And as a punishment for starting the riot, the mean matrons hold our heroine down and shave her head. Who thinks this is a good movie for children? I realize attitudes towards children's programming can evolve, thank goodness. Nowadays, they want to help you learn a second language or improve your self-esteem. Back then, they wanted to teach you a lesson. And years later, I took film class, and I realized the kitten was a symbol of her innocence, destroyed by the prison system. And her hair, a symbol of her individuality, stripped away. But at age 8, I was just horrified. She was just trying to reject the kitten, and it died, and then they cut her hair off. I slept with my arm around my cat and my other arm around my head. I was so traumatized by this movie that just a few weeks ago, I was channel hopping cable TV late at night. I stumbled across that same movie. I recognized it immediately. I was transfixed. I had to watch it again. I had to see. Was it really as scary as I remembered? Turns out the title of the movie is Caged, and it was made in 1950. And I'll admit, the kitten and the hair part still upset me. I still like kittens, and I still like my hair. But there was a whole part of that movie that had faded from my memory. You see, after the kitten and the hair part, our gal undergoes a transformation. She becomes a bad girl, in that 1950s movie kind of way. Yeah, gone is her ladylike walk. Now she saunters, worldly, nowhere. And somehow, in that prison, she's gotten a tube of red lipstick. Yeah, it's a black and white movie, but you can tell as she puts it on. dame kind of lingo. You know, like, quit your belly aching. And so's your old man. And yeah, our gal is trouble with a capital T. And when she gets paroled early because she's got connections, she walks out of that prison and gets into a big fancy limo with 2 men in the back seat. They light her cigarette for her. These fellas are real glad to see her, if you know what I mean. So what did I really learn from watching Major Astro? Well, from the movie Caged, I learned a whole bunch of things. I learned bank robbery's a bad idea. And you can't hide a kitten in prison. And I learned that with the right kind of lipstick and the right kind of walk, you could get some men to get you just about anything you want. And that beats your after-school special on self-esteem any